participants in the live cast.
Oh. Hello. Maybe hello. Welcome to Comic Book Wars, the comicbookspeculation.com podcast. This is episode 13, which is apparently a lucky number. I don't know. That's what Nico told me. But yeah, I'm ready to go. Are you guys ready to go? I hope you are. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah, fired up. It's Sleepy John here. We got an interesting outline. I think people are going to like it.
This is Nico. I am your weekend update correspondent with comicbookspeculation.com. Happy to be here.
So, did you guys watch The Boys TV show on Amazon yet? You jumped into that?
Yeah. I thought it was good. Did you guys watch it? What were your thoughts?
First off, have you both of you guys read the comic?
Yeah, I mean, up to a certain point, I think it kind of gets repetitive after a while.
I may have given up to about, who knows? It was so long ago, though. I mean, we're talking like 2008, 9.
So does it not? It's not a continuing story like Preacher, where it was kind of leading to a certain end.
No, I mean, it's about the same length as Preacher.
It is, yeah.
Do you remember how The Walking Dead took about
70 issues?
70 issues, right.
Yeah.
The Boys could have taken about 40. It just goes sideways too.
Yeah, Preacher seemed like it was the whole thing was planned out perfect, and that's how it was done, and then it ended, and it was, that's it. But okay, so what do you think of the show so far? You guys have both read the comic. You've seen some of the episodes, at least.
Yeah, I mean, they changed a few things, but I mean, I liked it overall.
Yeah, I don't think any adaptation they're not going to change stuff.
I was really happy with it, and I'm happy to see that it's moving books. It gives me a lot more faith and confidence in other projects. I'm more interested in East of West now than I was before The Boys came out, and any other comic book, whatever TV show that gets picked up by Amazon.
Did East of West get picked up by Amazon?
A long, long time ago.
Yeah, it might be on its way out of option, but. Yeah, I couldn't remember who that got picked up by. Boy, it what was I gonna say? It was. I watched the first episode. Very interesting, very graphic, very intriguing. I thought it was pretty cool. They got some big name actors and actresses on it. I think it's got a lot of. You were talking about moving some boys' books. Yeah, I mean it was one of those shows that, again, kind of, to me, it was the never-ending question as to a week before the show comes out that people start buying the comics again. Like, it's crazy to me. But yeah, a lot of sales for Boys last week, leading up to the show, not even when the show debuted. I don't know. I was pretty much out of my Boys books by the time it debuted last Friday. And I was very happy with the prices I was getting. But I've been sitting on those. How long ago was that optioned? I feel like I've been sitting on those books for
I think it was
4
about
years,
right after
years?
the first season of Preacher. So whenever the first season came out.
Yeah, and Preacher's on season 4 now.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it was during the first season that The Boys was optioned because the Preacher was so well received.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, add The Boys to the long list of, boy, I should have sent that to CGC. Boy, I should have sold that already. But now I'm not exactly sure where my number ones are. I think I picked up like the Crucifixion issue, 50s too, because they were like a homage to one and whatever the last issue was. I have a vague idea of where they may be and need to like dig them out of a box and promptly list them. And I'm happy that I didn't already, but that certainly wasn't by design. And I think this is more understandable, right? That people will watch the show and buy the issues much in the same way that they did with Umbrella Academy. And it's certainly unbelievable to us because we all see this coming. But the one that just kind of still has me scratching my head is 100 copies of Eternals #1 selling after the San Diego Comic-Con announcement. There were 100 people who knew how to listen to the announcement on Bleeding Cool or who fucking knows where, right? Somewhere. And then within a matter of hours, they read the news article or whatever it may be. It dawns on them for the first time, I want a copy of that book. And then they go to fucking eBay and buy. Like, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. But I'm happy.
It is what it is.
They're the
right
real
now.
MVPs. Keep buying my books.
Yeah, it is what it is right now. I mean, in the comic buying and selling world, it's just in the past couple decades, it's unprecedented as to where the market is right now. We're in this bubble of, I talked about this a little while back about books like Ninja Turtles '95, the Marvel Comics Presents 6. Like you're in the bubble of we're in this hot book. I need the hottest book of the week, and every week there's a book that sells for 20 or more. But and in the larger picture, we're in that bubble of just stuff just keeps selling as like clockwork. When an announcement's made, a trailer is released, a show comes on TV, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. You kind of think that it will, but I think the real slowdown happens on the backside, like where all the books are optioned and 5% of them make it actually to the screen. How many of those are left dead hanging on the vine?
Yeah, but we knew this was going to get made. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like it's
but
strange.
You look at a book like Scalped. They actually film, like, usually when it gets to pilot, it goes to pilot. They film the pilot, and then they show it to the parent company, whatever you call it, and they say, yes, we'll pick this up. Keep moving forward. Scalped was one of those ones that they did not pick up, which is crazy.
Right. I mean, why The Last Man? They fired the showrunner.
After what, 6 episodes, or they filmed some episodes of that, didn't they?
At least a pilot.
Yeah.
Or they were in the process of filming the pilot, and then all of a sudden it's like, we're gonna fire the people that we put in charge and made responsible for this product.
Yeah. Same as like Swamp Thing, although things still keep coming out about Swamp Thing. It was basically a budget issue. It seemed like that they just way overspent on it. I thought it was interesting that Jimmy mentioned Doom Patrol Season 2 is not on the DC channel, which is weird because they're doing Titans on a DC channel.
Yeah, it's supposed to be on the HBO
Max.
And yeah, that's what it was announced for, which I don't understand.
Swamp Thing, I don't know if it's there's been a lot of rumors about that getting picked back up, because I watched maybe like 3 episodes of that. It was pretty cool. It was a lot more horror centric than I was expecting. So and I think a lot of people liked it. It was just a budget thing, so that may get picked up somewhere else.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten around to watching it, which is my fault.
I like it.
I hear it's great.
Yeah. So what do you think about after Thor 4 was announced, and we talked last week about Jane Foster, some other stuff has started to come out. We did talk about like Iron Maiden, which was kind of late news, but also now there's some more speculation, nothing confirmed at all, about maybe God Butcher being in the movie, and also Enchantress. I think Enchantress is probably a lock from stuff that I saw before the Thor 4 movie even got announced. But God Butcher would be an interesting one. So his first is Thor God of Thunder #2, which that whole series is. I don't know if you can buy those books for like under $10 at a convention. Any one of the series. It's 25 issues long, and it's a modern classic run. I have not read it yet. It's on my list. But I went ahead and started reading Fatale under Nico's recommendation, and that is a pretty crazy story. So I made it through about 20 issues of that so far. Maybe I'll put God of Thunder on there next. But I think that God Butcher book is a good one. It's never really come down in price since the Venom series with the whole Necro Sword, because it's first Necro Sword issue. First God Butcher. There's a 1 in 25 that's always been up high since Donny Cates blessed it. What do you think about that one, Nico? Is there any I mean, I'm going to put it on the list.
Yeah,
of
sure, absolutely.
I can
List
find
of
it.
books to buy cheap. If it wasn't
Yeah.
already on your list of books to buy cheap, sorry, put it on there now.
Yeah.
Am I going to go out and pay market price for it? Of course not. But it's
So what
one
would
that
you
I
buy
buy,
it
it's one that I
for?
sell.
Like $15, $20?
I don't know if I'd pay that much.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get them for like 10 to 15 on eBay. But
for a nice copy though.
Yeah, I mean, nice enough. But I mean, I
would
don't know.
definitely pay 10 for a copy.
Yeah, I'm probably in at
this
10
point.
bucks on Thor 2s.
Mhm.
It's a $10 buy.
Bundle it up with some others.
That 1 in 50
Absolutely.
Akuna variant does look pretty solid. But yeah, this was hyped up when Donny Cates did his sword thing, right? So
Yeah.
who knows?
Once Venom, the Donny Cates Venom run. And, you know, honestly, just the way that God of Thunder has moved in the past few years in terms of slowly stabilizing itself as a modern classic run. God Butcher's a pretty big character in that run, so I think
You can buy a 9.8 for 113 bucks.
Really, that's not terrible.
So I don't know. Plus shipping, obviously, but
yeah, that's actually not bad.
Yeah, it's weird. Weird.
If I could buy a near mint for 20 though, and possibly get a 9.8, obviously that's where your profit margin is. So Nico, you were talking about before the podcast, maybe about how
he was talking about a lot of stuff. So
Tessa
were you. You guys were being very, very rude and mean before the podcast.
Well, are we talking about?
We started late. No, yeah, we started late because you guys were mean, and there was a lot of bullying going on.
There's me, Sleepy, that's 2, and then there's Boston Nick.
Oh, those are the 3 fans of my other podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's accurate. It might be.
We're your number 1, 2, and 3 fans.
You guys just.
What else was I talking about other than my devotion and
I don't know. I just think it was.
You got like real euphoric on Tessa Thompson and her role as Valkyrie in the movies, and you started daydreaming about where things could go with her being the first LGBTQ Marvel superhero, and you had mentioned an article which talked about a possible love interest or a partner.
That Angela won, and then
she's
A-Force won with the Singularity.
I don't know. I just threw Singularity out there because
that was your pick.
It's it's the first gender fluid character, I believe, in Marvel. So there's no Jimmy doesn't know what gender fluid is.
No, I know what it means. I mean,
I heard him talking about
it's like,
it on a
who
podcast.
Cares?
That's not what
does
Valkyrie
everybody
is not gender fluid. She
no,
is a woman.
Books are already kind of
Valkyrie's a woman who likes both men and women.
Yeah, I know what fluid means.
Like gender fluid's like you don't.
Fluid means you don't identify as one or the other. Yeah. It's whatever you're attracted to. Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, I just find it laughable because why do we have to make such a big deal out of that?
Well, I don't know. You were all hyped up on North Star last week. I'm just trying
because he's the first one. He's the first.
Yeah, you can't give away those books either, for the record. When I got back into
that's
comics,
why I think it's a key.
I bet this is an expensive book. No.
I don't think there weren't more before him, and they were just waiting
because it's
movement.
The first time a comic made it a big deal.
Well, they were waiting till they felt safe to come out.
Well, okay, fine, that's fine.
This is a good transition to why I think Green Lantern. What is it? 52.
Glad you used the word transition.
Green Lantern 52. Kyle Kyle Rayner.
Kyle Rayner.
Women in Refrigerators book is an important book historically, and
because Gail Simone wrote like a thing about it, right?
Yeah.
Well,
she wrote an article
about a number of
how
different people that have talked about that particular issue. John, do you want to elaborate?
No, but she's the one who started it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically just how women are always put in the position of having no power and that they're defenseless and weak against the men in comics.
used as a plot device. Their deaths are used as a plot device.
That's
And
what it was.
there has been, a number of different critiques by critical theorists about that particular issue. What I think is important is that there is a DCU variant, and I particularly like that issue. And I like issues with historical significance. But Sarah, again, I pulled them out of dollar bins. The Kyle Raynier book, I pulled them out of dollar bins. The DCU variant, I've paid for those. I think that's an important book down the line.
The Angela Asgard's Assassin #1 that has a couple first appearances. So it's that Sarah character, which I don't know anything about, but it's also the baby who became important in War of Realms.
All right, let's get on to the bigger books, because that's what people really want to talk about. The books to buy during the wall. I put together a list of like 100 of them, didn't I?
So what we want to talk about, and we talked about this last podcast, was some books to look out for and to keep an eye on and buy when other announcements are made. So like when San Diego Comic-Con, they talked about Eternals movie. Okay, Eternals that's when you want to be selling those books. What are the books that were popular 3 months before that people don't have any interest on anymore? And or what are the ones that are definitely high level potential, but people aren't talking about right now?
Yeah, you want to go down the list?
Yeah, let's. Well, I want to start with the Marvel stuff because Jimmy's favorite convention, D23. It's Disney 23. That convention happens
with D12, which is Eminem's Posse.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with them. It's not the same.
Oh.
But what does the 23 stand for?
It's for
like 23 and me?
Disney and then 23. D23.com. That's the.
But what does the 23 stand for?
Well, it's a Disney thing. You wouldn't get it if you're not a Disney fan.
You don't get it either, though, do you?
Well, I'm not a Disney fan. It's for insiders only.
Okay.
And I was not invited to the.
But yeah, so that's what, on August 23rd and 24th, and there's a Marvel Studios panel on the 24th.
Yes,
very exciting.
Yeah. So the rumors are they're floating about as to what they're going to talk about. They're talking about Phase 5 movies. So, Nico, take it for me. What do you want to talk about?
I was going to try to count them off for you. So there's your favorite, Kamala Khan, right?
No, so that's the rumor. So
they're all rumors until this thing doesn't happen for a month, dude.
Okay, I'm reading the wrong thing. I'm reading.
I wish I did. Yeah. Kamala Khan, I think, is Sleepy's favorite. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, the rumor's just that it's Miss Marvel. It didn't say that it was going to be Kamala Khan.
Right.
But just that it was Miss Marvel. It could be Kamala Khan.
You think it's Monica Rambeau?
No, I just think it's possible. So if it's announced that it's another person, I want to be able to like look back on these things and say, hey, I was right. So I mean, I'm just saying it's possible. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's probably Kamala Khan.
We don't know
for sure. Animated series is what the rumors.
I'm saying it's a Kamala Khan animated series. So I picked up a 9/8 Miss Marvel #1 last week.
Calling his shot
because I think that's where it's going to be. That's not Kamala Khan is such one of those damn characters that they have 5 first appearances. Miss Marvel #1 is very similar to the Thor #1 Jane Foster, and we saw what that did once that got announced. Even though there's other cameos, there's other appearances. Miss Marvel Kamala Khan has an actual story that is a prelude to Miss Marvel #1 and All New Marvel Now .1. It's a standalone story. That book's impossible in 9/8. It always seems to have the same crease on the spine.
It's a giant size book. You're fucked. Buy slab 9/8.
I think there was a printing problem with it because about 2/3 of the way up on the spine, if you look, there's always a crease on it, a color break on it. So that's I'm loving Miss Marvel Kamala Khan.
Other people are talking Moon Knight, which some suggest is absolutely ridiculous because it's Disney. It's not, this like Marvel Comics, we do Blade, but it's actually Disney. And Bob Iger already talked about how he was concerned that it was going to confuse people to have Deadpool as an R-rated movie at the same time that they were doing, Beauty and the Beast or whatever. That being said, the speculators that are championing this idea are suggesting, like, if Keanu Reeves is in negotiations and plays Mark Spector, move over Wolverine, he will be the king of comics.
Well, like, how many times have they done D23s? Like, did they
I
ever
only
announce,
remember hearing about it like at least last year. I remember.
did they ever announce like Miramax films at them or like whatever else Disney owns? Because that's how they used to do R-rated movies, right? They would just put it on another studio.
Yeah, same as the comics.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, they could
They
do
started doing that when Disney bought them, right? Was like Icon, the Icon line,
maybe
Marvel.
they could.
like,
Yeah, well, no, Icon
Or the
Line.
Mark Millar.
Icon Line was
series.
were creator-owned series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all of them are creator.
But it was under the Marvel banner.
Which one was? Icon? No, Icons weren't. Like, so was Criminal, and there's a few others.
But that was put out by Marvel, though. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Icon was just like a under Marvel.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, there was no Marvel like logos or anything on it.
No,
yeah,
no.
Right. Yeah, it was owned by Marvel or whatever.
And they don't do that anymore. That's why they had to like polybag Miracle Man.
I don't know. I don't know if they still do that or not. I think they might. I'm not sure.
None that I know.
I don't think they have recently, but yeah.
No, they just polybag them if they're too graphic. Yeah.
I mean, it's possible there's doing a G-rated Moon Knight animated series. So
that'd be terrible.
But they have to introduce the character to kids and see if it sticks, and then they can do a more grown-up one probably.
No,
so
I don't
know. We'll see.
I think you just bring Keanu Reeves in, have him do it's all martial arts based. It's not like he has. I mean, he's got like.
He can't.
I don't know. It's a complex character. Does he have powers or not? Because you don't know if he's in his own, if he's in reality or if he's in like his own mind kind of thing. Yeah, I could definitely see. I think that's where Keanu Reeves is going. I don't know.
So the other one was what? There's Century, Marvel Knights.
I mean, that's sort of what people are suggesting is going to be the offshoot of Blade, that it somehow signals the beginning of a Marvel Knights series. I don't know if there's any veracity to that at all. It seems kind of like conjecture more than some sort of like inside info.
And then people just think
I've been buying Century, though.
I buy Century books all the time. I think the black cover to the first issue is a hard one. I think it's absolutely something that someday they'll do as like a TV series. They're going to want to compete with Superman or get out front of the Superman title with Century.
I find that more in sets at conventions and stuff. I hate when people build sets. Do you think people buy sets still?
Yes. And I do a bad job of selling them. But if I sprinkle my boxes with them, I sell them.
I always look through the sets because you find stuff like that. And that one I usually find in a set because it's the original series was 6 issues. And then they had all these little one-shots. And it's a great read, too. It's really cool. Cool story. So Marvel Knights, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't interest me.
Right. What else? Young Avengers, Dark Avengers, right?
Yes.
New Avengers.
New Avengers.
West Coast Avengers. No.
Yeah, no, there's rumors of West Coast Avengers, though.
How about Great Lakes Avengers?
Bishop. It's just Kate Bishop stuff. It's the same reason.
But Kate Bishop's been confirmed, so I don't know.
Right. But I mean, they're just, again, it seems more like conjecture than some additional.
So Hawkeye's daughter dies in Endgame. Is that what happens? And then so they have to bring back Kate Bishop or something? Okay.
No. She gets they get caught in the snap, so they're not dead now, but they all got snapped. So I don't know that this is a time to be buying Young Avengers. I will say that I don't think there was
cheap. They didn't really spike that much.
No, there was no spike. I don't think. I think the copies that were just available sold. There was no like, now I'm going to list my copies. I think the window possibly closed on Kate Bishop when they did the trailer for Endgame that showed Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye's daughter, shooting the bow and arrow. That was when like, oh, that's Kate Bishop. Well, it ended up just being his daughter. And I think that's when the window was to sell, unfortunately. We'll see if something happens, but
Yeah, I've been holding those books. I
yeah.
mean, if they're going to do Kate Bishop, my investment in those books is so small and the potential upside is so big. I have no real incentive to move them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would. I mean, you can always
Yeah.
buy back in. They're so cheap. But the point is, if they actually do some sort of like Young Avengers run,
Jimmy laughed at doo-doo.
he liked the doo-doo.
Yeah.
Doo-doo. Then Kang becomes the critical spec pick, right? With Iron Lad and the Rama Tut books become, a big winner. I don't know that they're necessarily going to do that. I don't know that they, who knows, dude. I imagine if I'm Kevin Feige, I'm waiting until that series is made, and I'm going to do focus groups, and they're going to have, like a more controlling say in the direction of how that envelops and like unwinds and so forth.
When you say that series made, you're talking the Hawkeye series. Hawkeye
Absolutely.
And,
You're going to want to see how Kate Bishop's received by the audience. Do people think that she can be like the critical component to, like a big screen series, or some continuing series of offshoots where they tell like a really expensive, complicated story that ties into like a larger Avengers franchise with Kang, in a childhood form as Iron Lad and that story. But again, I think that's gonna have to do more to do with focus groups than it is with like like plot ideas now.
We've talked about that Young Avengers stuff for a while.
On and on.
I've also talked about the other one I talked about was Vengeance, America Chavez. Vengeance #1. I don't have any reason why she should be involved in anything because I don't know that she's that popular of a character.
Only two characters that are missing from the Ultimates. What
2016 series, the Al Ewing series?
Right. Everybody else is in.
Yeah, Captain Marvel is kind of the lead of them, correct?
Absolutely.
Or Captain America's in that too, I think, right?
I don't think so.
I think he's on the cover of #1. I could be wrong. Oh no, wait. I think it's
no, it's Blue Marvel, bro.
It's Falcon,
Blue
Captain
Marvel?
America.
No, it's Blue Marvel.
Could be. Well, Blue Marvel's not.
Blue Marvel and American Chavez are the only ones that are missing. But anyway, keep going.
And you just said Kamala Khan too.
I did see rumors that Blue Marvel is supposed to be introducing.
Yeah.
And they're working on something with Blue Marvel.
Yeah, he seems to be heavy in the spec, and I don't know how you.
Well, his books are selling too. So
his book is already really high, though. Right?
It's super high, but like the shitty raw copies that I was looking at, because I heard the same rumors that you heard are selling, and I was just like, what the fuck? I have no idea.
Try and find one at try and find one at a convention. You're not going to find them anymore. I was having it like when it hit like $25. I remember that, and I was like, what is this book? I never even heard of it. And then I was able to find some over like a year, like maybe 3 of them. But I think it has a real low print run because he wasn't in anything before. That was his first introduction into Marvel. And I'm sure retailers were like, I'm not sure what this book even is. I'm not going to order a lot of it. Nobody else knows what it is.
Yep.
So it's one that I definitely would buy. I mean, what price are you talking? Because are you talking $100 for a raw?
Dude, $100 for fucking VF raws. The 9.6s are like $400. I think it's like $1,600, or no, maybe $600, and like 9.8s are $1,600. And the only people that are selling those kind of like 9.6s, 9.8s on eBay are fucking My Comic Shop. You know what I mean? Like they're just astronomical prices.
Yeah. I would buy like 2.5 Miss Marvel #1s before I bought 1 VF Blue Marvel. Just my opinion. I think there's more potential for value.
There's too much, dude.
Bloodstone, I mean, that one's been going up for a while. It's always hot and cold, but I will say, like in May, there was a lot of rumors about her joining in a movie or something, and it was selling hot again.
Well, they were talking about introducing her in a Blade film.
Yeah. So that was selling. There was a lot of copies sold for between $15 and $40 at that time. Now it's still hovering around those prices, but it's not
Note that the
selling as
$200 to
much.
$250 9/8s are gone. You're in at like $350 if you want one. Like that's all you got.
I don't think it's an easy book to get a 9.8, but I've never submitted one. But I will say it seems like always the copies I get, the spine always has that like kind of split where the outside cover, like kind of cracks on the spine. But that doesn't mean they won't give it a 9.8. It's just kind of a cover condition. What do you think about Riri? You guys on board for Riri Williams for?
It's a long-term play. I'm not. You're not going to see me running out and buying Women of Power 9/8s.
You should though. You should.
Why?
Because
what do you got for me?
Tell us more.
Eventually they're going to be introducing her, so it's sooner or later. But the question is it going to be sooner rather than later?
Yeah, same with a character like Silk. I am buying Invincible Iron Man 7 and 9 when I am able to. I actually bought a 9 variant 2 weeks ago.
What about
Spider-Man 1's the first appearance of Cindy Moon? If you're going all crazy on Silk.
Don't do this to me.
I want the Comics Pro variant.
You're talking about a book that has a million copies.
That's fine. I think I have at least 500, so you can have a few.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Number 4, though, I was actually surprised. It's I saw some sales of like well over $50 for Nearman copies of ASM number 4 recently, and there is no talk of Silk right now in terms of movies and whatnot.
The Sony Spider-Verse, because it's been super quiet, right? No word on Venom Part 2.
Well, I mean, in the Spider-Man, the second film, isn't it kind of revealed that the Mary Jane character has like no real love interest with Spider-Man or whatever?
No.
Or am I wrong? No, that's not what happens? Oh, okay. I thought that maybe it was because they thought that she'd eventually be introduced there.
No, I think they're gonna make a Spiderling, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen the movie. I just assumed that
that is a character.
They weren't having it.
That's a character I did not put on the list. Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, Volume 2, Number 4.
I like Marvel Spotlight.
First named Spiderling.
I like Marvel Spotlight too.
What is that?
Spider-Woman. First appearance.
32.
32. What did I say?
Number 2.
Yeah, wrong book. 32.
Oh, I thought it was some kind of Star-Lord book or Adam Warlock or something.
No, that's
I thought it was the Electric Spider-Man.
Marvel by Night.
12 one.
Anyway, 32.
Spidey Super Stories number 2?
I thought it was Spidey Super Stories 12 or whatever.
Is that the Thanos copter?
No,
Star Wars homage.
No, that's where
the African American Spider-Woman.
Yeah, the first appearance of Spider-Woman.
Yeah, nobody cares about that book. I'm talking about Jessica Davis.
Wow.
But people care about What If 10.
People do care about What If 10.
It's the same level as What If 10, isn't it?
Definitely not the same level as What If 10.
Why not?
Definitely is.
It's the character's name?
It says Spider-Woman.
What's the character's name?
Here comes Spider-Woman.
What's her name?
I don't know. Spider-Woman, I guess.
Spider-Woman?
I didn't read past the one page that says here's Spider-Woman.
What name is on her driver's license?
I don't know. Spider-Woman?
No one knows.
People know. Everybody, like, if I read the book, I would know, but I didn't read it.
No one's ever read the book, Jimmy. That's the kind of
copy. Don't make me read it and find out her name.
I look forward to you doing a book report and reporting back.
First of all, she has a real name.
You can tell me
you're being rude. It's the first appearance of Spider-Woman. You don't want to accept it.
Coy will accept you.
Whatever.
But nobody else will care.
Why do you need a driver's license if you can just attach onto buildings and swing around?
Yeah, exactly.
So
if you live in New York,
reasoning.
Subway.
But what does Spider-Man do
when he many books? Can we move on?
He goes to
no, my point is that's obviously the first Spider-Man or Spider-Woman.
What does Spider-Man do when he goes to the suburbs?
1 second print. Those are cheap now. You can still buy them in the toys. There's a ton.
When you say a second print, you mean like the Toy Biz variant?
Correct. Let's move on.
So it's not really a second print. It's more like a
Let's move on to the next book.
Right.
Okay. When Mel said that I hate to be on this podcast, I think he might have been correct. Let's move on to the next title.
I was listening to you. I was adding in. Was I not? What's wrong? What happened? What did I do wrong?
He's so angry all of a sudden.
You guys want to be done in an hour? It would literally take 4 weeks to fucking get through the books listening to this nonsense. Keep going.
Only
fucking chance of me getting through the outline. Like it's one chance. Keep going.
Well,
I think Nico needs a Snickers. He's getting real hangry. Something.
yeah, I don't know, man.
Please keep going.
Peter Parker 76, First Crown. I've
Yes.
been buying this book out of dollar bins for a while. Do you think there's still potential for this book?
I think there's potential to sell when the trailer comes out. I don't know if there'll be potential to sell ASM 101 after Jared Leto gets a hold of the character. But again, I pull them out of dollar bins and I flip them. And, there's something to keep on your radar because they're going to continue to be in dollar bins. Nobody gives a shit about the book right now.
The other one is that Creatures on the Loose. I believe it's number 30. It's got Man Wolf on the cover. It's the first appearance of the character that Tyrese is playing in the Morbius movie, and that's one of Jimmy's favorite.
Jimmy loves Tyrese.
I like Tyrese.
R&B musicians.
Remember when he was rumored to play Blade?
No, but he's been rumored to play. But he's been rumored to play Jon Stewart for 5 years.
But that's just because he says it. But he also said he was supposed to be Blade, right? So
he's over 2.
Yeah.
Well, he'll nail this character who has no powers at all, so he'll nail that. Fantastic Four spec. I mean, it's just. I feel like this is out of reach for a lot of people to be buying some of these books as speculation. They're going to be sitting on hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars.
Well, here's kind of the deal, right? Like they've all popped now. Will the people who purchased them be sitting on them, clenched, fists in 12 months?
Buttholes waiting for their bank account to fill up.
In 12 months, 18 months? Well, I don't think so.
It's just what? It's fantastic. It's just the first 5 issues or something, like first Doctor Doom, first team. Right?
Yeah, fuck that. There's a ton, dude. So there's
well, I mean, unless they announce a villain,
Silver
you don't really
Surfer.
know which way to go with it. Well, yeah, okay, you're right. Silver Surfer.
And Galactus.
5.
But aside from those like 5 key books,
Black Panther.
Yeah, that's counted in the 5. Aside from those 5 key books, what other books are there?
Warlock.
But he hasn't been announced. Like nobody knows for sure.
Well, that's what we're talking about,
right?
So, oh my God! Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, okay.
The Cocoon was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Clearly, they're going to have Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Do I like the Thor book better? Yes. Will I still buy whatever it is, 66? FF66? 67? Yeah, fuck yeah, well.
The Cocoon cover.
Yeah, absolutely. If the price is going
answer
down.
Me this. Are you just buying that because you like Wilford Brimley from Cocoon? Or is it because of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
I like Wilford Brimley.
Annihilus too. Fantastic Four Annual number 6.
Yeah, which I like Franklin Richards as much as I like Annihilus. I like
what is the spec?
Or number 2. What is it? Annual number 2 is the Doctor Doom origin.
I gotta be honest. I can't follow the Richards. What is going on with them? Like all the characters. So there's Franklin Richards. That's his first appearance as Annual 6. Same as Annihilus, who they have a new Annihilation series coming out. Apparently, comic book series.
Yeah.
So what's Franklin Richards? Who is he? He's the kid.
The child of Sue and Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Now, there's also a child in Volume 2, number 56 or 36 or something. It's a blue cover. It's a Barry Windsor Smith cover. The artist's terrible. But it's also like a first appearance of a child. And I can't remember the name. I have like 4 of them. I can't remember who it is.
Oh.
No, nothing. So what's up with Franklin Richards? Why would he be speculation pick?
Well, because
in the 90s, he was the most powerful mutant ever, right?
Yeah, Marvel's been pushing him hard in the last few years. Plus, with he's the leader of the Future Foundation. There's also the daughter, right, in Future Foundation. Am I wrong?
Yes,
kind of daughter.
Yeah.
So
they apparently killed at one point in time because there's a "What if the Fantastic Four's daughter had lived?" book.
Yeah.
When was that? Was that before or after Future Foundation?
It was like in the fucking 80s. I mean, I don't know.
So I mean, now she's, I guess, alive, or I would assume somebody's alive. So I don't know. I don't know where that leaves us, but I mean, I think that means that Franklin Richards is here to stay, and I think that's the team they're going to go with, at least the family dynamic. So
yeah, we'll and here's my point about FF books: they're not fucking going to stay hot. Watch, like and there'll be an opportunity to buy them, just like there was is an opportunity to buy Adam Warlock books. Take the opportunity if you can afford it.
I don't think Doom will go down now.
Oh, it's a fucking $1,000 a point.
Yeah.
He's the greatest villain in the history of Marvel Comics. Yeah.
More than Thanos at this point today.
Yeah.
Today.
If you read comics, maybe if you fucking just watch the movies, then no. But
it's interesting because
what happened to Jimmy?
He had to go eat more snacks or something.
Oh, wait, what's wrong? What's wrong?
See, your camera's
it
off.
makes me sad when you're not with us. I get sad on the
inside. I've been with us. I'm here.
Deep down inside.
What's interesting about Doom is like he has played on both sides, good and bad. But Thanos was just out. Was Thanos the good guy in Avengers? You know,
it depends which way you look at it.
It's a Karate Kid situation.
No, not really. I mean, is the world a better place if half the population is destroyed? I mean, it depends which way you look at it.
If it's people I don't know,
let's keep going.
Power Pack. I picked up a couple Power Packs not too long ago.
Yeah, Power Pack seems to be moving because there was rumors that that Marvel was going to be introducing them at San Diego Comic-Con, right? So that seems like something that Disney would announce, though. So yeah, I mean, I don't know though.
That sounds like a good D3 announcement. Power Pack animated series.
I mean, Brute Force is also being moved, but I feel like that's just people being like, "Oh, well, this is our new club book. We should buy this." So I don't know. We should.
I thought that was because of the Facebook page.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe the Brute Force Facebook page was something I made to show you that the other Facebook pages didn't matter.
But, I was posting it everywhere.
What? I believe you. But anyways, my point is like that's another book to be looking for.
What's that? Brute Force?
Brute Force, yeah. Sorry, Nico.
Don't be. I'm so fucking happy. Keep going.
Does that have like a dolphin character or something?
Not about Brute Force.
He has lasers.
In the outline.
Oh. I don't know. Sorry. I don't know anything about D3.
You did great. What he said. Keep going in the outline.
X-Men. We're going to talk about X-Men? Nico?
Well, I mean, I see that giant size X-Men 1 seems to be moving a lot, but I mean, who cares about Wolverine? Is that really like the speculation right now? We're all jumping on Wolverine.
Yeah, the super hot heat has come off Hulk 181. Giant size has been, it's been neck and neck with it. I don't know that we need to talk about that book. What's your thoughts on some of these other ones? Like Mr. Sinister, I still buy those when every once in a while I'll find a real nice high grade one for like $10. Seems about 20, 25 is the going rate if you just walk into a comic shop for it. There was a lot of, he was basically going to be in the next X-Men movie. They showed him before his, whatever his name is, before he becomes Mr. Sinister in the movie with the briefcase. And then they never did anything with it.
Well, I think all the X-Men movies have been canned, right? Like they're not doing any more of them.
For now, yeah.
No, I think they're all done, right? No, they're gonna recast all of them. So
yeah, in like 5 years or something.
So they could bring that character back or like recast.
I hope they don't just try and redo it again with like Apocalypse and and Magneto and is the bad guy for five movies, whatever.
Well, the first one always has to be Magneto as the bad guy. No.
Yeah, it's like an origin story though. He's good, and then he thinks he's doing good.
Like Thanos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think you're a long way away on Sinister, I guess, when you talk about it like that. I'm still just saying, dude,
all X-Men keys are dirt cheap right now. The minor keys, right? So like Uncanny X-Men 266, X Factor 5. The first appearance of fucking Alex Summers is tragically undervalued. I mean, you can kind of go through them like Avengers Annuals 10. There's like 509.8s. You see those books in super high grade condition, dirt cheap right now. Nobody gives a shit. I don't think you'll regret sticking those in a long box unless it's going to screw you up financially and you need to flip them. But I would just kind of run through those books. If you see them cheap, underpriced, undervalued, I'd snag them. Now's the time to buy them. Pretty soon you won't be able to.
First Alpha Flight, because they're going to do that eventually.
Actually, that's a book. Alpha Flight and...
Are you talking about their first appearance or Alpha Flight #1?
No, their first appearance.
Yeah, their first appearance.
What happens in #1?
First title.
It's the first Puck.
#1's the first Puck. And who cares about Puck? He's like
Nobody, but
short,
they got
he's a
$1
bear
now.
midget.
French. No, I wanted to say midget, but I was trying to avoid it. He's French and he's hairy. He's like
I
Ron
don't think you're
Jeremy.
supposed to use
Except
those
he's
words.
French.
Let's keep
But
moving.
he's also who's the other?
He's a
character?
terrible
North
character.
Star.
Yeah,
Who's like the
but
biggest
he's not
character
the
in
first.
Alpha Flight?
Yeah, North Star.
Yeah.
Then there's that lady, right?
Oh, the other one is Excalibur. That's been moving for about 6 months.
well,
Honestly,
at
Excalibur number
San
one.
Diego Comic-Con,
Yes,
it was.
I know they announced a new series.
Yeah, they said they announced 4 new X-Men series, right? And one of them was Excalibur, so that's when the number one's really started.
There's like a legit D23 announcement that I wouldn't be surprised about. Captain Britain, the UK comic, I grab when I see him. I also like the not Psylocke, what's her name?
Betsy Braddock.
Betsy Braddock first appearances from that original UK run.
That book has been expensive as hell for
It
a
is
long
expensive.
time.
It's absolutely worth the money.
Once what's her name was in the movie.
I wouldn't be buying like slabbed fucking high grade copies, but you know, if you see those at a show and you can like get them at a reasonable price, not eBay prices, but like I think that's a winner.
Let's move on to DC stuff. The one that I've been picking up over the past few years because they keep throwing it out there. I think it might be a good time for DC to do something with the character because of what we've seen with a show like The Boys, where it's a little bit outlandish and over the top, is Booster Gold.
I love Booster Gold. I was so excited you put him on the list.
It's a laughable character, but the fact that he's just like so boastful and he wants to. He would be perfect, a perfect millennial superhero. Like, could you imagine him having a Twitter and Instagram and being in the media all the time?
Well, he's like Tony Stark, right? Except he goes back in time.
Yes. Jimmy, what do you think about him already being on that TV show? Does that,
What
TV show? Like, I don't think anybody remembers him being on
the one
anything,
that I don't watch. It's like something of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, I don't think anybody watched that. So
he was on it?
Is it still on?
I don't remember
I heard it was
anybody
good,
even talking about him being on it. I don't think it was good because I don't think it's still on.
I liked it. I watched half a dozen episodes.
Dude, you only watched one episode of The Boys and you watched it right before this. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think you're the key demographic for these TV shows.
Wow. I'll take him.
Wow.
Well, anyway, I like
what would I be a good survey respondent to what type of show?
Like, I don't know, the sequel for Frasier?
Is that like celebrity casting call?
Are they gonna do a remake of that? Should I try out for it? Hello.
Does that make Jimmy Niles Crane?
Please leave a message.
Jimmy, are you the neurotic brother?
I'm sorry, guys.
Is Sleepy gonna keep you in the attic?
That was great. That was a great response. I have nothing. I have no response to that one except great.
Keep going.
We'll take your survey. So I know Nico's favorite book is Watchmen #1. What about question number 17? That book it jumped up a couple years ago and now it's just kind of hovering.
That's what, first Rorschach or something?
First
in
Rorschach
DC
and continuity,
yeah.
and
it's like that Death book, only it's harder because it's black.
Yeah, it's kind of a dark side appearance. It's a real quick thing that they just snuck in, and it wasn't nobody cared about it until a couple years ago.
Yeah, there'll be a short window to flip
it. Sandman we've talked about pretty well, I think, because of the TV show. John Constantine, that book, they had the TV show. I would also throw in there not only John Constantine, but Justice League Dark. I buy those #1s from the New 52 when I can find them cheap. I've had Swamp Thing 50, 51, and Annual
48.
2. Is it 48, 49?
I think so.
Or 49, 50.
Swamp Thing's head on it.
49, 50. Yeah.
Ugh,
and Annual #2. I've had those on my eBay watch list for a while, trying to get a 9.8 at a decent price. And I'm not saying the decent price right now is like sub 200. That's actually a really good price. I just don't want to spend 200 on it right now. But I think long term,
the 9837s went from 800 to 600 and change overnight when Swamp Thing got canceled.
really, where is it at now?
I don't know. But I missed an auction that was like a buy it now or something at like 635. I was pissed because I probably would have snagged it. I like that book.
Yeah,
It's a
John
tough 98.
Constantine has I think there's a good following there, and I don't think the show was that bad.
The NBC show was great.
Yeah, I think it just, whatever, it wasn't well received, and I think the character has a lot of potential. I think that is a good one. I will say the New 52, the first arc is really good, and problem is it's one of those. It's same as Suicide Squad, or I'm sorry, Gotham City Sirens. They're not really ever called that in the comic, so you just go with number 1 as the first appearance, even though, like, you get into that freaking argument about CGC won't put it on the label, so it doesn't count. Women of DC. What are you thinking on this, Nico?
Dude, there's
Power Girl.
How do they do Power Girl? She's got her tits out. How does that fit with fucking
They just don't have her. Like, wasn't she supposed to be in Legends of Tomorrow as well? And they did that somehow. So
Dude,
I think it would be easy to do.
I don't think these characters were in the show.
Yeah, no, I don't know about Booster Gold. I'm pretty sure Power Girl was in something. I think Power Girls can be done.
Just like
I love Power Girl. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, in today's PC, like everybody's, the world is a sharp instrument, and I'm a thin balloon. Just just rub me the wrong way so I can explode on you. I don't see Power Girl getting fucking made.
I don't know. Did we step into the wrong podcast?
I don't know. I don't know what podcast Nico's
it's
on.
It's the fucking truth, though. I mean,
I don't know, man.
He's on he's waiting for the next 9 Inch Nails album to come out.
Head like a hole.
What other women characters are you speculating?
I'm happy about Naomi simply for the first time ever, simply because of them being dirt cheap. You can get like $150 9/8 of the A cover. Raws are dirt cheap, and Brian Michael Bendis is on Jimmy Fallon or Seth Meyers maybe. I'm excited about Batgirl books and Supergirl books.
He was on Jimmy Fallon, I think.
No, Seth Meyers
with Naomi.
Seth Meyers reads comics. I think it was Seth Meyers.
Maybe it was Jimmy Fallon. I can't recall.
Pretty sure he was on Seth Meyers like a month ago, and he was recently on Jimmy Fallon. I think that's
even
what
fucking
happened.
Better.
How do you get on that show as a comic book writer? That
DC's pushing it. DC's pushing it hard.
So what, did they pay to be on the show?
I don't know. Nobody watches those shows anyways, except on YouTube.
Don't forget about
the way they do it. The way they do it is they get guests that will attract YouTube views, because if you look at their ratings, they don't get a lot of good ratings. So the only really afterlife of any of those talk shows is through YouTube.
That's an interesting thought.
So it gets all of us. It gets all of us talking about it, and this whole sub community is like, oh yeah, we'll watch that show, or we'll watch those YouTube clips to see Bendis and see what he's talking about. So I think that is successful, but it just is what kind of market is there, and maybe he did well on the first time they did that, and that's why they brought him on another one. Who knows?
Yeah,
but yeah, so big Barda, whoever that is,
she was basically confirmed today. The female Furies were confirmed for the New Gods movie.
Yep.
I don't know. Wasn't Big Barda confirmed before though?
I don't know. And that's what, Mr. Miracle 5 or something?
6. First. Okay. Also first.
I said or something.
First Funky Flashman, which is Jack Kirby's iteration of Stan Lee.
And then there's
Marvel.
Yeah, Zatanna. And then Supergirl and Batgirl, but those are kind of obvious.
Yeah, I think Hawkgirl's an outside pick. They've never done like a Hawkman movie. You remember there's like a Golden Age or Hawkgirl, which they're.
She was actually the Legends of Tomorrow show first season. She was one of the central storylines with Hawkman, because what their thing is like they die and they come back, and she was having a hard time like dealing with that. They're like eternal.
DC
Hawkgirl?
Yeah, it's a weird book. I forget the name of it. The modern iteration of her.
Yeah, it
was on that show.
Isn't it Secret Origins?
I think
Justice
that's exactly
League Secret Origins #1,
yep.
I think.
I don't know if it's #1, maybe.
I think
the point is, it's a Google search away. It's a book that kind of had heat in the past, has dwindled, and those are ones to like memorize the cover and snag if you see cheap.
It has Hawk. It's like a red cover and it has Hawkman on the cover, as like in a shadow, kind of more or less. Yeah, that book was real hot for a little while, and it dropped way back down. Can't even get $5 for it, maybe now.
You want to keep
Who
going?
knows? There's also Jessica Cruz. That's one of the Marvel or one of the females. I don't know, man. I mean, of undervalued books, there's a bunch of Green Lantern, Green Arrow books, but who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, who cares?
Keep going. What about Black Adam's first appearance? He's clearly going to be in his own movie. They're clearly going to do a Shazam sequel. You don't think so?
I don't know if that thing is dead or what. It's it's supposed to be The Rock.
Didn't he make a statement recently?
He made a statement like a couple of months ago, or
no, like
2
like
months
this
ago.
Week, this week he said something.
Oh, I don't know what he said.
Yeah, I don't know, but this week he said something.
I thought they couldn't come to terms on budget because he wanted to be a big budget, and they're like, "No, we're good." And he's like, "Well, I only do movies like Rampage and I Fight a Building," like Jimmy says.
Yeah, it's which he does very well. Yeah, he said something where it was like, he's coming. It's happening.
Okay. Well, it's another
Black Adam. How he starts? He starts off as a villain, then he becomes an anti-hero, and then he might become a hero, or he might not. That's what he said. So, based on that, based on that direct quote, I'm assuming it's happening, and then so
that's good to hear. Yeah,
grab the Shazam book. I think it's 28.
Yes, 28. But it's not like, I mean, it's gonna cost you $30-$40 for a beater copy.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that one: you can grab.
I think like an 8.0 is probably a good range.
Pressable defects. And get those things pressed and pay less than you need. There's just they're constantly throwing fucking copies of that book up. It's like so many of these like dead spec books. People grabbed them, thought they were going to get rich off of them, and now they're just like, fuck it, throw them up. There's new auctions on Shazam 28 every day. I don't know if there'll be as many after this most recent quote, but there have been, because I've been grabbing, or at least competing in those auctions for a long time. The other book we didn't talk about with respect to the New Gods film is the first appearance of Darkseid, which I think is absolutely a book that I would like to have in my personal collection. I just haven't broke down and paid top dollar for a really nice copy, but I think it's a good move. And again, the issue of whether or not you buy the Jimmy Olsen or the Forever People one is a different debate for a different time. I like the Olsen book, even if it's just a terrible appearance.
I think the best money right now for DC books, because I'm kind of staying away from one other one we didn't talk about was Cheetah. That Wonder Woman movie got like pushed back apparently, and there's been no costume appearances or anything of Kristen Wiig as Cheetah, and I think I love her as an actress. I'm not sure what the character of Cheetah is going to be like. Is she going to be funny, like the kind of characters that she can pull off? But that book it's been known that she's going to be in the movie for a couple years at least.
And you're talking Wonder Woman 7 and 9?
Yeah, exactly. 7 and 9. 7 was the book for a long time that people that were getting for it, but 9 is where she really is the character of Cheetah. I think that one's kind of coming up to the top because it's black cover. And I don't know. I hate when people say it, black cover. Doesn't matter. I think the content matters in 9 a little bit more than 7. And again, like I said, nobody's really talking about it. So that one we know is happening. I think when you see Kristen Wiig as Cheetah, people will be like, oh, I need that book now. Yeah, I didn't know that was a character. So definitely
200 of them will suddenly sell on eBay like Eternals fucking one.
I think when we finally see a trailer for the movie, which I'm not sure what's going on, why it's been so delayed. I think it'll pop.
Yeah, once people see what she looks like, that makes sense. So I think there's I think that's it for DC. So there's a few independent and image books that no, these are all image books. There's a few image books that are undervalued to a certain degree. So
They are all image.
So what's
What
that?
do you think? Let me
Saga
throw out
1 and
one
East
that
of
isn't.
West.
Let me throw out one that isn't image before we get into image ones. Like,
Well,
what about a book like Harrow County? That's been number one. That's been hanging around $20 for a good while now.
They're hard to find because I can't find them in dollars.
Yeah.
I might break down and buy one for fucking $20. I have a zero.
Yeah, I bought a couple way back when, and they were not hard sells at $20. 3 years ago. I don't know that that's a Cullen Bunn book. He does a lot of stories that people like. He's doing what's he doing? He's doing Valiant stuff now. He's doing Punk Mambo and new Roku series coming out. He's like a very I don't know why all the independents seem to get him, and like Marvel and DC haven't really latched onto him like they have with some of these other writers like Bendis and Vaughn and whatnot. But he might be up there. Yeah. So Saga is. I keep waiting for this book to go down, and it just really is not. Fortunately or unfortunately, I think that means
Nor
that
has the
people
RRP. I don't even think you can buy an RRP on eBay for crying out loud.
So that's how long has that been in a lull? It's been over 6 months at this point. Now they said they're halfway done with the arc, so it's like 52 issues or something was where they ended it. They have not yet made an announcement as to when it's coming back. It's got to be soon, I would think. But
well, if you remember,
there's no date.
Staples, when they launched the hardcover, was like, "We're coming back."
Yeah,
I'm like, "When the fuck are you coming back?"
Yeah, because when they did the hardcover, that's when it
pains me, dude. Pains me.
Like big media outlets picked it up in terms of that it was halfway done and great series and this and that.
I may be crazy, but I think that the potential for Saga to actually be a television show is higher now than ever before, and will have more to do with the success of Sandman and Dune than really anything else. Is it Universal?
I would say Why the Last Man is hurting it right now.
Yeah.
Because
no question about it.
It's a BKV book and everybody loves it. It's that same trajectory too. Why the Last Man is what? Vertigo?
Yeah.
So it's a lower distribution than like a DC book. I could see Saga 1 getting close to that potential. I don't see it being $1,000 book like Why the Last Man is in 9.8. I don't know why that book. Yeah, but it's got the potential to get near it if and when. Give it some time. Give it some time.
Yeah, and the issue is really like, can you pick up raw copies in number 1 for cheap? Will people start unloading 9.8s in no reserve auctions that you can sneak in and grab one for cheap? Can you grab one
cheap?
off a convention wall?
300 for a 9.8, 150 for a raw.
I mean, I don't know that I'd pay that much, but yeah, I guess probably.
I mean, I keep waiting for 9.8s to get down to 300 range. I haven't checked like in the past couple months, but they dipped to like 300, 350. Maybe there was some below that, and people were like, here it comes the bottom falling out. Then those got bought, and then it just went back up to 400 because then it was just like people who weren't selling for cheap. And okay, well, I guess I just have no choices now.
Yeah, I'm probably $100 raw for Saga 1 and
that's really, you ain't gonna buy one for that price.
I mean, I bought one.
I bought one for $125 at Heroes, and I feel like I stole the thing.
Yeah, there we go. $1.25, same difference.
Yeah.
Maybe like $2.25.
East of West, I guess we already talked about that a little bit. And there's
I have faith in that simply because of the boys.
And there's the C2E2 the Comics Pro variant,
which some guy sells every week in a no reserve auction for the last like 52 weeks. He's got a new copy. They're gorgeous.
The Mark Miller books seem to still be selling well. Not selling well, but they seem to be good books that will start to see some more interest. And I mean, those ones are what, Magic Order and Jupiter's Legacy. I don't know. The print runs are
they're making
right?
those are both in production for shows though at this
Well,
point.
all of them are assumed to be, right? I think there's only like
Jupiter's
2 that aren't.
Legacy had 2 rounds of casting. Magic Order, I feel like they did something with. I can't recall.
Well, Jupiter's Legacy is actually being filmed in Toronto, right? Right now.
I don't know.
No, you're
Yeah.
thinking of Boys.
No,
Yeah, I
Jupiter's
think you're
Legacy.
thinking of Umbrella Academy.
No, dude, I saw Jimmy in the background of a Jupiter's Legacy set.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I circled his picture. I swear.
Jimmy was on.
So yeah,
Jupiter.
those are good books that I think are undervalued to a certain degree. So there's stuff still going on with Southern Bastards?
No, I think it might be dead because was it Jason Aaron was the writer on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
He said at
like,
the end of last year, he said, we'll know this year one way or the other if it's happening or not. So basically this year he said it will happen or it won't. We're halfway through the year. We haven't heard anything. I still love it as a long-term play. I think it's an awesome read. It would be super low budget show. I don't know why it
could be the next Justified, right?
Yeah, it's a good way to put it, more or less. Like an updated version of Justified. I don't know why it hasn't moved forward. Like, how could you not pick this property up? It's got all of the elements that would be. Maybe it's too controversial in that sense, but I could totally see like FX picking it up.
I like it more now than I have in 9 months because of Jason Aaron's Thor.
Run maybe he'll just get hot all of a sudden because
he's got to be getting eyes in Hollywood. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. What's the Thor's director? Takewanti, something like that. He said he is. He said he is following. Joaquin. He said he is following the Mighty Thor run, Jason Aaron run, which doesn't line up with like what we were talking about earlier, God Butcher and whatnot. I don't know, but whatever.
When I mispronounce people's names.
And then God Country, again, another one. I think it's hard on these independent books because there's not a super abundance of them where people just start dumping them. So you
think that one's undervalued?
No,
I don't know that undervalued is the word I would use for any of these books. I think these are books that people are going to be dumping. That you'll have an opportunity to buy them for less than market, for less than they're selling for on eBay right now within the next like 6 to 18 months. That's kind of like how I sort of envision this list. Not that these are like undervalued and they're going to like appreciate over time, just that whatever the hell their value is now, they're going to sell for less very soon. And that they're on a downward spiral. And I would try to get in, as low as you can because they're going to come back up.
Yeah, these are books that I like when I'm at a convention. If somebody has, a couple of these and they got a couple hot books, I'll try and put them all together. Yeah, and say like, look, I really don't, I won't say this, but I just like, I really don't want this book at this price. But hey, if I can get it at half this price, I'll take it and sit on it. And you know what's happening? Like in the past 2 months, I'm able to go into my back issue bins and pull out all these books that I got like that I bought at a good price. I go back and look at Thor #1, Jane Foster. I'm able to pull a couple of those out. I'm able to pull, a couple of this out, a couple of that out because I got them at a cheap price. And hey, why not? It's something to if I can get it at a good price, I'll buy it, put it away. That's what all these books are. The other one that I bought a couple months ago was Tokyo Ghost. What's
the hard variant that I can't find that I wanted and gave up on?
It's the New York City Comic-Con variant. It's a black cover one. The Baltimore Comic-Con has a white cover. The New York City has a black. And they're both just a black and white version of the A and B cover. So the A cover is a guy riding a motorcycle. Black and white version is the New York City version. And then the B cover is a woman. It's got a pink background. The Baltimore Comic-Con is a white version of that. Remember when Deadly Class came out and people in that read comics were loving it, and he's one of those. He's a good person to talk to on Twitter, or he also does a lot of what do you call those? They'll do like a scheduled hour thing on Reddit or something where you just ask them questions.
And ask me anything, like an AMA or whatever.
Yeah, exactly, an AMA. They got talking about Tokyo Ghost, and he said, I don't know, maybe there's something in the works, maybe there's not. But it kind of made it sound like there was. Now, I don't know if that means that there is actually something. And the way that Deadly Class went down, I think probably hurt the chances of something happening. But I think it's a good one to pick up. Right now, the regular covers are $3, on eBay. I don't know that you can find them in dollar bins. I don't know that it was pretty popular when it first came out.
I can't even find them in back issue bins. eBay is the place to buy them.
Yeah. So you may end up paying $5 for it. I don't think it's a bad buy at $5 either.
Yeah, it's like
because it's the comic is Sean Gordon Murphy, I believe, right? And Remender. I mean, Gordon Murphy does some awesome art. Most of his stuff is storylines end up being pretty well received. Remender really can't go wrong. So that's another one I would pick up, definitely.
I agree. I mean, I had 0 copies too. So
Jimmy, hit me with an independent that you would pick up that we're not talking about, because all we talk about is Image stuff, which is really number three. I
don't know. I picked up a Pizza Man 1 and I sold it for like $10 immediately. So I feel like that was one that people want.
What about Too Much Coffee Man?
Yeah, Too Much Coffee Man gets some is very undervalued right now. So is Reed Fleming, The Milkman.
Okay.
But that one, I don't know. So there's a few that
not like Milk and Cheese though. That's dead.
No, that's another one.
Nobody's buying Milk and Cheese.
But I mean, that one could eventually pick up again though. Milk and Cheese.
Only the first appearance in the what is that? The Flaming.
Look at what happened with Fabulous Freak Brothers. That one always sold well, and then that one really heated up now that they've announced an animated series.
Now that Nico's been talking about it.
True. So I mean, who knows? But I think that's it though for our undervalued stuff. No, am I wrong?
No, definitely. We can keep going.
Again, I don't think any of that shit is undervalued.
Well, I mean, I didn't make the list, but I mean, I agree with the vast majority of it. You disagree?
Well, I don't think that any of it's, quote, undervalued. I just think it's like stuff that's not hot, getting less hot, and you're going to be able to get cheap, and that it will get hot again, and you can sell it.
Yeah, so it all has potential to go on the wave of speculation to be re-waved, is what you're saying.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
You know, I
wave life.
I agree. I think that's all we had though for tonight, which is great because I mean it actually gives us a pretty good title for the podcast, Undervalued Spotlight or something.
God damn it!
What do you mean? What's God damn it? I don't know. Whatever you guys, whatever's written in this thing.
Sleepy,
yeah, I want to put Undervalued Spotlight, but
I would not put God in.
I'm gonna call it books to buy during the lull. I'm gonna spell it with a bunch of like more L's than ever, and yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
If you want to get lulled.
Yeah, and can I say one last thing?
To this.
This is more like a thought exercise, for like our listeners and for us about books maybe to think about buying. Certainly not like a buying list, but these are the kinds of books that like I'm buying. I think that John's buying, and
I've told you a bunch of books I'm buying.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to running out and buying all the books that are hot for 5 minutes when they're hot.
Yeah,
Jimmy, they're not hot and are about to get hot.
Jimmy's just bought a bunch of books to get signed by Rutger Hauer, and it's like, bro, too late, bro.
Who's Rutger Hauer, Jimmy?
He's that guy from. We talked about this. He's in Hobo with the Shotgun.
No, we didn't talk about this. You talked about it.
I didn't talk about this. I didn't bring this up.
I feel like you didn't share this with me yet.
Maybe I talked about it. Maybe I talked about it on another podcast.
It might have been another
with
podcast.
You guys.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. I'd like to hear more about it.
Defects.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll catch you guys.
Thanks for Jimmy's shirt.
next week. Remember, you guys said you were like there were only 3 fans, and you guys were one of them, but he doesn't even remember what happened on it. Okay, thanks, guys. We'll catch you next week. Bye now.